Good evening, all of you. Today we'll see about electron spin resonance spectroscopy, which is also called as a electron paramagnetic resonance and electron magnetic resonance. So these are the another name for electron spin resonance spectroscopy. Okay, so this type of a spectroscopy, there is a molecule which contain unpaired electrons, which are paramagnetic species or free radical species, and this was discovered by Zavorsky in 1945. Okay, so this is also a absorption spectroscopy like your NMR. So it only possible when molecules having a unpaired electrons. We already had a discussion on NMR spectroscopy, so this is quite similar to NMR spectroscopy, possible only when the molecules having unpaired electrons. Okay, so instead of radio waves in a NMR, microwave is used in electron spin resonance spectroscopy. Okay, so it is a non-destructive technique also. Now, what is ESR? So, it is basically a branch of absorption spectroscopy in which radiations having frequency in a microwave region. So, as I told you, it is means in case of an NMR there is a radio waves, and in ESR there is a microwave region, and they have a frequency, means the molecules, they have a frequency in a microwave region which are absorbed by the paramagnetic substance to induce transition between the magnetic energy level of electron with the unpaired spin. Okay, and that magnetic energy splitting is generally done by applying a static magnetic field. So that is generally a ESR, means what is actually a ESR. So this phenomenon is shown by atoms having an odd number of electrons, ions having partly filled inner electron shells, molecules that carry angular momentum of electronic origin, then free radicals having unpaired electrons, and molecules with paired electrons and zero magnetic field. Means if you are using this phenomenon, it shows us this different things about the molecules or electrons, you can say. Now the principle of this technique, means principle of ESR spectroscopy, which is based on the absorption of microwave radiation by an unpaired electron. You just need to understand this basic thing about this ESR key. In that means in this type of a spectroscopy, what happens, there is an absorption of a microwave radiation by unpaired electron when it get exposed to a strong magnetic field. Okay, so the electronic energy level of the atom or molecule will get split into the different levels, right? When it absorbs lights, or we can say when that passes to that region, obviously it emits or it absorbs some light, so it will get split into the different levels, or you can say different directions also. So the magnitude of the splitting is always dependent on the strength of the applied magnetic field, means how much they get split, it depends on the strength of the magnetic field which is applied, right? So the atom or molecule can be excited from one split level to the another in the presence of external radiation of frequency corresponding to the frequency obtained from the difference in energy which are in between the split levels, right? Such as excitation, so that is called as a magnetic resonance absorptions also. So this magnetic resonance frequency will hence be or further it can be influenced by the local environment of the atom or the molecule, right? So that is generally a principle of ESR spectroscopy. Now here you can see what causes the energy level, means how much we applied the magnetic field or how they get split, right? So you can see in this diagram also. So the resulting energy levels of an electron in a magnetic field, so you can see there is a plus half and minus half, means this causes how much we applied the magnetic field, right? So now the energy level, like in this diagram you can see there is a graph in for energy, right? So how you can describe the energy levels, which is based upon the spin of the electron and its associated magnetic moment, right? So for a molecule with a one unpaired electron, means if you having a one molecule with which has only one unpaired electron, in the presence of magnetic field, two electrons spin energy levels, which are given by one specific formula, that is A is equals to GMB B0 MS. So G, which stands for proportionality factor, MS is the electron spin quantum number, which can be half, plus half or minus half. Then MB, which stands for Bohr magnet, and B0 is the magnetic field. Okay, so there is one phenomenon which is very important during the study of this ESR spectroscopy, that is a hyperline splitting, which is also called as a spin splitting. So in that, magnetic resonance can also occur without an external magnetic field from the interaction of the electron and a nuclear spin. Means when it can occur, so it can be occur in the absence of an external magnetic field also. When there is an interaction in between the electron and nuclear spin, there is a formation of magnetic resonance, like a resonance which produces fine and hyperline structure of the atomic spectra, right? So the nuclei of atoms in a molecule or a complex, they have a magnetic moment which produces a local magnetic field at the electron, and the interaction which is happen in between the unpaired electron and a nuclei with a non-zero nuclear spin, that is simply called as a hyper fine interaction. Okay, so that leads to the splitting of ESR line, which is also called as a hyper fine spectrum. So pay attention for this sentence, ki the interaction which is happening between the unpaired electron, because in ESR there is one important thing, that is there is it should be have a unpaired electron, means the molecule which are going for the ESR spectroscopy, it should have a unpaired electron, right? So the interaction which is happen between this unpaired electron and non-zero nuclear spin, that can be combinedly or collectively we can call it as a hyperfine interaction. And if there is any splitting of that molecules or that ESR line, that is called as a hyperfine splitting. So here you can see the hyperfine interaction. So these molecules, they interact with the single nucleus of spin, which has spin like half. Okay, now this is the general instrumentation of ESR, that is electron spin resonance spectroscopy. We'll go for detailed parts of this ESR. So here you can see the schematic diagram of an ESR spectrometer. So it requires like klystron plower, microwave stabilizer, frequency counter. There is an isolator, you can see variable annuator, crystal detector, isolator, amplifier, then multimeter, power supply, field control. Okay, so these are the parts which are present in this ESR spectrometer. So we'll go for more detail about this part. So first one, that is a klystrons. So this is a tube, okay, which act as a source of radiation, means light source जो का असेल जो का microwave region. So this is a tube. The name of that tube is the klystron, which act as a source of radiation. So the frequency of a monochromatic radiation is determined by the voltage which can be applied by this tube, that is a klystron tube. So it is kept at a fixed frequency by an automatic control circuit, and it also provides a power output of about 300 milliwatts. Okay, so it requires this much power, okay, which provides a radiation in a ESR spectrometer. Then there is a wave meter. So what is the role of this wave meter? It is put in between the oscillator and attenuator to know the frequency of microwaves which is produced by that klystron oscillator, right? So the wave meter is usually calibrated in the frequency unit instead of the wavelength. Okay, so that you have to understand. The waveguide is a hollow rectangular brass tube, you can see in this diagram. So it is generally used to convey the wave radiation to the sample and the crystal. Then next part, that is the attenuators. So this is a power propagated down the waveguide may continuously decreased by inserting a piece of resistive material into that waveguide. So the piece that is called as a variable annuator. You can see in that first diagram also, and it is very important part in the ESR spectrometer. So here you can see the analog and digital annuators. Okay, then isolators, which is the next part in the spectrometer, ESR spectrometer. So these isolators, it is a non-reciprocal device which generally used to minimize vibrations in the frequency of microwaves which are produced by your klystron oscillator, right? So हे कशासाठी यूज करतात? It minimize the vibration. That is the role of this isolator, which are used to prevent the reflection of the microwave power back into the radiation source. Okay. So the structure of this isolator is strip of ferrite material which allows microwaves in a one direction only. Means the फक्त microwave चे जे काही radiation निघणार आहेत, it will be in a one direction. So that can be done by these isolators, which is also being stabilizing the frequency of the klystron. Okay. Then the next part, that is a sample cavity. So this region is very important in any instrument. So the heart, which is an heart of the ESR spectrometer, that is a resonance sample cavity where you can place your sample, okay, for analysis. So in most of the ESR spectrometers, there is a dual sample cavities generally used. Okay, in this diagram also you can see the ESR tubes. This is done for the simultaneous observation of a sample and a reference material, because we are comparing na, so we need a one reference and we one region for our sample which we want to analyze, right? So it is very important for simultaneous observation of the sample and reference material. Since this magnetic field, when it interacts with the sample, it causes a spin resonance, and then your sample is placed where the intensity of magnetic field is the greatest. Means where you can place your sample where the magnetic field is greatest. So by that you will get the higher resolved results. Then couplers and matching screws we need. So there are various components of the microwave assembly to be coupled together by making use of irises or slots of various sizes. So you can see in the diagram there are different sized screws are there. Then next part, that is a crystal detectors and holders. So there is a silicon crystal detectors which converts the radiation which has widely used as a detector of a microwave radiation. So this microwave bridge, such as a magnetic T and hybrid ring variety, they are most commonly used as a detectors in case of a ESR spectroscopy or spectrometer. Then the next part, that is a magnet system. So the resonant cavity is placed between the poles pieces of an electromagnet. So this electromagnet capable of producing magnetic field of at least 5000 gauss, which is generally required for this spectrometer. So the field, it should be stable and uniform over the sample volume. So whatever we are using in this instrument or in this spectrometer, it should be stable. So like magnet system or the field, it should be a stable. The stability is very important in any type of technique, because or you can say the stability of field is achieved by the energizing the magnet with a highly regulated power supply. If we are supplying electricity in any type of a techniques, if it is not that much sufficient to for that instrument or for that technique, it will not give us a proper results, or there will not be stability of that technique. So if we want more stable or more great or good result, we need to supply a specific, or we can say a higher energy or higher power supply. Okay, so then modulation coil, which is also important for ESR spectroscopy. What is the role of this coil? So this modulation of the signal at a frequency consistent with a good signal noise ratio in the crystal detector it can be accomplished by a small alternating variations of the magnetic field. So that variation is generally produced by supplying of a modulation coil which is oriented with the same direction as we are supplying a magnetic field, or as there is a formation of a magnetic field. So if that modulation is a low frequency, the coil can be mounted outside the cavity. So we need to apply a higher frequency for greater modulation, okay, for a greater result. Then this part, that is display devices, they are very if this devices or this part is not good, so we can't visualize the results of that whatever we have done, right? So display devices, in order to adjust the spectrometer and to observe the signal, cathode ray oscilloscope has been employed, which is a strip chart or XY recorder, which is generally used for recording the signal in case of a ESR spectroscopy. So this EPR, that is a electron paramagnetic resonance, which is another name of that technique. They are usually displayed in a derivative from to improve the signal to noise ratio. So in this diagram you can see both, that is XY recorder and means these are the display devices which are used in a ESR spectroscopy or spectrometer. Now how does it work actually? So now I will tell you in a short key how we can perform this technique. So the sample which is placed in a resonant cavity, which is for that means for placing that sample into that instrument which admits microwave through an iris, okay. Then the cavity is located in the middle of an electromagnet which helps to amplify the weak signals from the samples. Numerous types of solid state diodes are sensitive to a microwave energy. So there is a absorption lines which are detected when the separation of an energy level when it is equals to the energy of the incident microwave. So at that time you can see there is a absorption lines, okay. Now this technique has many applications in a different fields, we can say. So all applications of ESR is based on three aspects, which are study of free radicals, investigation of molecules in the triple state, and study of inorganic compounds. It has application in biology, then pharmacology, agriculture, food science, medicine, then material science, physics, chemistry, biochemistry. So there are various applications of ESR spectroscopy which are generally grouped into two different categories. First one is the analytical applications and second one is the biological applications. So you can see here there are some analytical applications like cofactors or Mn+2 ions that can be measured and detected even when present in the trace quantities. The method means this method is very rapid and can be measured in an aqueous solution over the range from 10 raised to -6 to 0.1 molar, okay. So this method has proved to be a rapid and convenient method which is generally used to determination of vanadium in a petroleum products also. It can be estimate different ions like copper, iron, okay. So these are the analytical applications. Now it has a biological applications, like it has studied the presence of free radicals, as I told you, in healthy and diseased tissues. Most of the oxidative enzymes functions via a one electron redox reaction, and much of the ESR work on a photosynthesis process also, which has been carried out with a photosynthetic bacteria. So these are the biological applications of ESR spectroscopy. So this is all about the ESR spectroscopy. I hope you guys understand what is actually a ESR spectroscopy, which stands for electron spin resonance, or which is also called as electron magnetic resonance or electron paramagnetic resonance. Okay, thank you.